I need all the wins, yeah. Ain't no L's, I gotta get it, no call it quits, yeah. Gotta keep on moving no matter how hard it gets, yeah. Better move out the way, cause I'm coming with harder hits. My head is as hard as a brick, but I'm harder than all it is. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. My heart on my sleeve. Seal my greed. That's how I get it. Success ain't no giving. Some days I don't hit, I don't slay. When I'm focused, I'm dangerous. They don't wanna when I'm anxious. Ain't no limit till I tank. I'm running on fumes. The opposition don't amaze. The roads racing through the pavement. Get your hands out of my bag. I know that's because I've been in it. I don't need to brag. I guess that's what happens when you taking care of your business. But some family, you do the math. I'm out of my pocket. Houston, we got a problem. I ain't perfect. Let them watch me elevating. Got them nuts. Cause I'm the pilot in the cockpit. Nose diving in the option. Woo! Watch how I get it here. Watch how I get it here. Watch how I get it here. Woo!
It's time! Welcome to DFS by the Numbers with your host, Brady.
Better move, you might get knocked out. Knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out. Knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to DFS by the Numbers. These are my final thoughts for Noche UFC. We have Valentina Shevchenko going against Alexa Grasso 2. We have an 11-fight card here. And yeah, this fight kind of has that, or this card kind of has that pay-per-view feel. You know, you got the title fight up top. Some really good fights. Like, I'm looking forward to every single fight on this card. Like, even the Josephine Knutson, Mann fight, it is what it is. But, you know, that fight should be somewhat exciting. But every fight after that, really, really looking forward to it. So I think we're in store for a very good card from a fan perspective. From a betting perspective, you know, I do have a decent amount of bets, a decent amount of plus money bets on a card full of chalk. This has to be probably one of the most chalkiest cards of the year, which is crazy because I feel like I said that last week. But, you know, this week we have Rosas Jr. minus 900, Knutson minus 850. We got Loopy as a minus 500 favorite. We got Campbell as a minus 600 favorite. I mean, this week's pretty ridiculous. But if you like chalk, if you like, you know, parlays, if you like, you know, 5-leg parlays that equal minus 110, this is definitely the card for you. I do actually have 2 parlays myself, though, but the rest are just plus money shots. So looking to find some value on a card just so chalky this week. But yeah, looking forward to it. From a betting perspective, a fan perspective, Draftkings is kind of tricky this week, though. You know, not a ton of underdogs sticking out this week. Last week, Sean Strickland came through as a big dog, which was huge for me because I faded Adesanya outright on DraftKings and had a decent amount of Strickland. But this week, a lot more trickier. Just not a ton of dogs that really do stick out. But yeah, looking forward to talk some betting, DraftKings, some weigh-ins as well. Before we get into it, if you guys can please do me a favor, leave a like on the video, subscribe here to the channel so you don't miss out on the content. The betting breakdown video will be out either tonight or early tomorrow. I have 9.5 units on the line right now, which is, I think, more than the last 2 weeks combined. So yeah, I'm pretty heavily invested into this card. I think it's a pretty good betting card. But yeah, lots of chalky spots, and we'll see. You know, who's going to be the parlay buster this week. Last week it was like Adesanya or Jack Jenkins if people were parlaying Jenkins, but I feel like there could be like a couple parlay busters this card. So it's gonna be interesting to talk about there. Tomorrow we're going live for Best Bet at 1:00 p.m. Eastern time. We have a stacked panel tomorrow. We got Narco Cop coming back. He is coming back tomorrow. We have Patrick, Addicted to Combat, and then we have Johnny K. Pick. So really good panel for tomorrow there. And then we got Damon saying, Brady, I see you scheduling this at 4:20. Yeah, so I originally scheduled it at 4:20, and then I had to move it back to 4:25, and then I arrived at 4:30. I was finishing up a workout and didn't get done in time there. We got E.T. Fade saying, let's go. What is up, E.T.? You got Sean in the chat. Let's go, Sean. We got Ace of Spade in the chat. Let's get this money. Samuel Ramirez, happy Friday, Brady. Time to make some money. That is always the goal. Forrest in the chat as well. Brady, my main MMA guy. Appreciate you, Forrest, always hanging out with me on a Friday. We got Uncle Wheezy in the chat saying, oi, shout out to Uncle Wheezy. I just got done with his greasy 4-legger last week. He hit it. Let's see if he can hit another one here. Shout out to Uncle Wheezy in the chat there. We got Sean saying Wheezy 2024. I agree 100%. We got DJN saying NFL has been destroying my bankroll. Help me, Brady. Yeah, I haven't really bet anything thus far for NFL, but there was this odds boost that I did last night, and I stay away from the odds boost, but there was this odds boost that just looked so easy. It was Justin Jefferson and A.J. Brown to each get 40 receiving yards. And A.J. Brown proceeded to go out there and get 31 receiving yards. This is a guy in A.J. Brown who last year averaged like 90 yards receiving, and this guy couldn't even get 40 receiving yards last night. Atrocious. So that was pretty much my only bet thus far for NFL, and it went down the drain. And I think that might be my last bet until like the Super Bowl. I don't know. I'm done. I retired from NFL a couple years ago. We got Tony in the chat. What's up, Brady? Great main card with a lot of squash matches on the prelims is certainly what it looks like. Brady casually late. Yeah, a little bit. A couple minutes late. Sean saying, nobody get cute and try to take a shot on Mann in the first fight. I'm telling you with 100% certainty, Knutson wins this fight. Looks like Sean's going to be on the minus 900. Knutson, best of luck to you, Sean. We got Force saying, go Lions. A Lions fan. There you go. We got LJ saying, let's go, Brady. Excited for this card. Feel almost more like a pay-per-view than last week's card. I agree. I like this card on paper more than last week's, but I'll tell you, like last week certainly delivered and much more. I thought last week was probably one of my favorite pay-per-views of the year, up there with 290 and 291. Really good card last week. Dan in the chat, my guy Dan saying, made it to the chat. Let's go, Brady. Let's target bets that the judges can't steal. Thanks again for all your hard working and the money and entertainment you provide to me. Shout out to Dan. Yeah, I don't think a lot of these fights do go the distance. I think the Cortez fight does, probably the Knutson fight, and then the main event Shevchenko fight, and maybe even the Holland Maddalena fight. But yeah, I think we'll see a lot of finishes on this card. We got Blur saying, yo, what is up? We got Colby saying this theme song always fires me up, me as well. AK on the Kevin Holland money line. AW saying Cortez era. Jacob saying Elise Reed fight week. It certainly is. It certainly is. What is your best bet on the card? I need it for a parlay piece. I think the best parlay piece is probably the Rosas Jr. under 1.5 rounds. I like that. They have been chalky since the max. Yeah, it's been a chalky last couple weeks, but yeah, it's hard. It's hard. I hate chalky cards, but I guess that's the thing now. Just a lot of chalk nowadays. Tom saying, I like this card better than the pay-per-view last week. Let's go. On paper, me as well. Me as well. Or saying, Brady, what do you rate this Fight Night card 1 out of 10? I would give it a solid like 8.59. I think it's a really good one, man. I mean, there's no fights where you're like what the heck's going on here? Why is this fight on this card? There's none of those fights last week or this week. Jack Jenkins is a fraud. I talked about it several times on Twitter before the fight. I mean, he got injured, right? I wasn't able to see the fight. I didn't bet on the fight, but I mean, how's he a fraud? I think he got injured, right? I don't know. Brady, do you ever smoke weed? Let's get this money. No, I do not. Stack saying, what is up? What is up? We are live. Yes, we are. What did you think about the weigh-ins? Everybody may wait. Everybody looked good. Nothing really stuck out to me. If anything stuck out to you guys, let me know. And we got Hype MMA as well. What is up? And the camp saying we need all the wins. All right. We will get started. He got injured because of the throw by Chepe. All right. You heard it here, guys. Jack Jenkins is a fraud because Chepe injured him with that throw. All right. We'll get into it here. We'll start with the first fight on the card. We have Josephine Knutson going against Mann. And I'm going to refresh these odds. We have Josephine Knutson sitting at minus 805. You heard that right. Minus 805 for Josephine Knutson. Mann is sitting at plus 155. I mean, there's nothing you can do here. I guess I wouldn't parlay minus 805. I mean, it just doesn't add anything to your parlay. Like if you parlay up Rosas Jr., Josephine Knutson, Lupi Godinez, and say Roman Kopylov, you're probably not even getting plus money there. Maybe you get plus money. Throw in Charlie Campbell there, you're getting plus 120 for a 5-leg parlay. It's just the juice isn't worth the squeeze on some of these, and this is just one of them. Like if I was to play this fight, which I'm not, I'm passing on it. Instead of Knutson minus 805, I would actually take a look at Knutson by decision, which is plus 125, just due to the fact that she doesn't really finish anybody. She has actually the worst finish rate on the entire card. I can see a lot of cage pushing. I can see a lot of control on the ground. But that's really the only way I would look at it. And maybe she's just so much better than Mann that she does finish Mann. Mann, for what it's worth, their only loss does come by knockout. But this is just what I'm going to stay away from a betting perspective, even a DraftKings perspective. Knutson 9,500. There's no way I can get there. because you have Rosas Jr. 100 more, where we know Rosas Jr. probably gets Mitchell out of there within the round and a half. And then you have, Charlie Campbell 200 less. Charlie Campbell, a guy with first or second round knockout upside. So I'll be fading Josephine Knutson, and I'll be fading Martin Mann as well. I don't like Mann's chances in this fight, hence the line, but I just don't really see a good way to bet this fight. But if you put a gun to my head saying what's the best bet, I would say Knutson by decision, but I don't love it enough to pull the trigger on it. So I'm going to sit back and watch this one, but Knutson should get it done. Be wary, parlaying up minus 800 favorites, though. I think Jasmine Jastovich will win. What is your opinion? You will find out my opinion in about 2 fights there. Yes, always. That's what this show is about. Read it in the comments. I know some people don't like it, but that's literally what this show is about here. Let's see here. 1-800 gambler fight. Yeah, I'd say so. If you got in on like Knutson like minus 500, I was actually considering parlaying her, but like minus 500. But we were talking minus 800, 850. I don't know about that. Mann is absolutely awful. Yeah, I don't think she's great at many things. Knutson's going to be very low owned, as she should be. She's just not a great DraftKings scorer. You can go back and watch the Contender Series fight. She would have not scored well on DraftKings, and then she also wouldn't have scored well on the Road to UFC fight either. Edgar didn't look his best on the scale, and Daniel looked great. That is a dangerous fight that no one should be parlaying. Yeah, I wouldn't be parlaying Charez. I wouldn't be parlaying actually a lot of these favorites. There's a couple that I do like, but there's a lot that are kind of risky up there. Wouldn't parlay Knutson at minus 800, if anything. Yeah, I think that's a good way to attack it. Like the over, even like over 1.5 is probably better than minus 800 there. The over 1.5 is probably like minus 500. Over 2.5, I don't mind as well. Hey, bro, which fights would you say you feel most confident they're going to round 2? The Knutson fight, the Cortez fight, and the main event. Thoughts on Jasmine? We'll talk about it in a second. All right. We'll move on to the next fight. We have Charlie Campbell going against Alex Reyes. And yeah, this is a fight that doesn't make a ton of sense to me, but I'm looking forward to it. So, Alex Reyes was initially supposed to fight Natan Levy. Natan Levy pulled out, and then in steps Charlie Campbell. And when this fight first got announced, it's like Charlie Campbell going to the UFC. I remember him getting knocked out on the Contender Series. But yeah, I went back and watched Charlie Campbell. I was very impressed with what I saw. This guy has a ton of power, really hard leg kicks. I think he's going to give Alex Reyes a lot of problems. We have not seen Alex Reyes in the cage for about 6 years. So, I was going back watching tape on Alex Reyes, and he looked good. He's a good grappler, very dangerous, 100% finish rate. But I'm watching fights from like 8 years ago. He's in it when he was in his 20s. Now he's like 36 years old. Apparently he had like some serious health issues as well. Yeah, I just don't like Alex Reyes' chances here. Maybe he can come here and look like an improved version, but I highly, highly doubt that. I mean, 6-year layoff for a guy in his 30s. I don't see him going out there and, looking pretty good here. So I think it's Charlie Campbell. I think there's a reason why money is just pouring in on Charlie Campbell. Charlie Campbell is currently sitting as a minus 560 favorite, which that's a drastic move because he was like minus 375 at open. Now he's minus 560 here, and Alex Reyes is plus 410. I was looking at a way to attack this fight in terms of like a prop. Like I was looking at maybe Charlie Campbell by knockout, but Charlie Campbell by knockout is minus 235 to minus 250. I was looking at Charlie Campbell by first round knockout, which is like minus 110, something like that. So I didn't pull the trigger on anything other than I do have 2 parlays on this card, 2 violence parlays, and this is the first one. I did parlay up the under 2.5 rounds in this fight. The under 1.5 was interesting. It opened up minus 160. I actually would have liked it there, but now it's minus 225. I still don't hate it there, but I did parlay up the under 2.5 personally, and that's the only thing I do have on this fight here. I'm looking for this fight to finish within the first 12.5 minutes, and I think there's a good chance it does so. So violence parlay, but nothing else sticking out. From a DraftKings perspective, Charlie Campbell, 9,300. I like him. First round knockout upside. If it doesn't happen in the first, it probably happens in the second. Alex Reyes, 6,900. Just a dart throw, I'd say. There's a lot of unknowns. There's a lot of question marks. He looked really good 8 years ago, but what's he going to look like now? This guy Reyes is dangerous on the ground. He has a 100% finish rate. So we'll see. We'll see if Alex Reyes shows up and looks like his old self. If he does, maybe he can pull it off. But like I said, I highly doubt he comes back 6 years later after everything has been through and looks like the same guy. So I think it's Charlie Campbell. I think it's Charlie Campbell first round knockout, but there's not really anything really playable in this fight. Do you think Jack is beating Holland? We'll talk about that fight. That's probably the toughest fight for me to call on the card, though. Campbell was winning on his Contender Series fight. Yeah, he was. He dropped Duncan multiple times. He dropped him early on in the first, and then he hurt him bad again. And then he came in, got reckless, and got caught. Campbell first round knockout. That's kind of where I'm leaning as well. What about Fernando Padilla versus Kyle Nelson? Round 2 seems playable. Kyle Nelson seems durable to not get knocked out early. I don't hate it. I personally think it goes into the second and third myself. Valentina inside the distance plus 240. No, thank you on that. Who would you date out of all the female fighters on this card? None of them. If I had to, I've been tracking you and a handful of very good analysts for the better part of the last 2 years. You are in second place as far as accuracy for your picks. You are so good, bro. I appreciate that. Daisy Tim. That's not my main goal. My main goal is to not pick well, but it's always a good thing to do. So my main goal is from the betting side to make money in terms of a betting perspective. But yeah, the picks, doing good in the picks is always, something good as well. Does Campbell have any cardio issues? Not really, but I don't think it's going to really matter here. And Reyes actually has really good cardio. Reyes has like multiple fourth round finishes, but again, that was like 10 years ago. Brady's got a wife trying to get him in trouble to pick a girl. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. We'll have to move on to this Tracy Cortez fight versus Jasmine Jazz the Vicious. So this is a fight where the line hasn't really moved much. Cortez sitting at minus 116 right now. Jasmine Jazz the Vicious sitting at minus 104. I think from like a line perspective, it's pretty interesting seeing Jasmine Jazz the Vicious just be like plus 275 against Miranda Maverick, and then all of a sudden be a pick'em here against Tracy Cortez. But at the end of the day, that all that doesn't matter a ton. What matters is what's going to happen here, and I think it's a close fight. I do lean towards the Tracy Cortez side. I was hoping money would come in on Jasmine throughout the week. Maybe making Cortez an underdog. I saw Cortez go all the way down to minus 105. Didn't quite get to the underdog, and now as of late, money's came back in on Tracy Cortez. I think this fight goes to decision, and the odds heavily indicate that. I mean, this is a fight that is what, minus 400 to go the distance. The over 2.5 is anywhere from minus 450 to minus 475. So this fight is going the distance. It's going to be close. And at that point, it all comes down to the crooked, corrupt, blind judges. So, I slightly lean Cortez, but, I don't have a ton of confidence there. I was looking at like Cortez by decision, plus 155. I think that is how I would play it. But as of now, I don't have a bet on this fight. From a DraftKings perspective, I think either side is fine. I do lean the Cortez side, though, 8,200. But I'm not extremely confident in Cortez here. Jasmine, she's huge for the division. She's very physically strong. And, we'll have to see. So we'll see. It should be a close fight, though. But I do like the Cortez side ever so slightly. Not enough to pull the trigger on it at juice, though, I don't think. Tracy Cortez is a goddess. Holland, Grasso parlay pays well, but I don't know. That's a dangerous parlay. You probably should just pay him or play him straight. They're both underdogs there. Surprised to see Cortez fight not on the main card. I mean, I personally probably wouldn't put it on the main card myself. I mean, this main card's stacked. Unless you want to take Rosas off the main card, but you know what the UFC is doing. They're trying to build him up there. I think this main card is really, really good. It is going to be close. It is going to the cards. It is Mexican Independence Day. Tracy gets the nod. Yeah, I agree. That's another reason to lean at on the Tracy side. I got Tracy minus 108. Good line. You got the best line available there. I don't hate it. We got Woozler saying, love your show. Appreciate you, Woozler, for hanging out. Who's your favorite Hispanic fighter on this card? Most exciting matchup? Let's take a look. Favorite Hispanic fighter would be, I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of, like, you got Rosas Jr., you got Daniel Zellhuber, you got Godinez, Cortez. My favorite, I guess I'm gonna say Rosas Jr., to be honest, just because I feel like this guy, people are kind of counting him out, not in this matchup, but like counting out his ceiling, going forward after his loss to Rodriguez in his last fight. I think at 18 years old, this guy still has a solid ceiling. So I'd say Rosas Jr., also maybe Cortez as well is up there. But most exciting fight is probably going to be, I think the Campbell Reyes fight is going to be very exciting. I think the Kopylov, I mean, there's a ton of exciting fights. This Padilla and Padilla Kyle Nelson fights can be very exciting. I think the majority of these fights are going to be very exciting this week. Let's see here. Adesanya is your favorite Hispanic fighter. Yeah, he's decent, man. All right, so yeah, give me Cortez, but not with a ton of confidence. But we'll move on to the next fight. We got Edgar Charez going against Daniel Lucerda. We got Edgar Charez as a decent sized favorite here, minus 210. Daniel Lucerda currently plus 180. What I found interesting right off the bat is Daniel Lucerda was going by like Daniel Da Silva for his entire UFC run thus far, but now if you look on SureDog and Tapology, and I think even UFC stats, he's actually going by Daniel Lucerda. So I'm not sure what's up with the name change here. But I think this is a violent fight. I think Daniel Lucerda is going to go in there, kill or be killed style. He's probably going to have some success early. The problem is, and I know Lucerda is a very popular underdog because he looked good in that loss against Vergara. He showed some flashes of some good things. Almost finished Vergara. And if there was any other ref in that fight, it probably could have been stopped. But, I will, just like Liang, he reminds me of like Liang Na, kill or be killed, 2 minutes of cardio. I will never pick Liang Na in a fight. Now, I'll probably never pick Lucerda in a fight. And I can't pick him in this fight just because, and it's simple as this, one of these guys is durable, and that's Charez. This guy's never been knocked out in 15 fights. And one of these guys has cardio, and that's Edgar Charez. So, if Daniel Lucerda is not able to finish Edgar Charez in the first round, he's kind of screwed. And seeing that Tetsuro Taira was not able to submit him in 3 rounds, I'm not sure Daniel Lucerda is able to do it in 1. So I got to go to Charez. And then, like I said earlier, I have 2 parlays on this card, and I did parlay up the under 2.5 with something on the main card. I'll go through those 2 parlays once we get there, but I like the under 2.5 as a parlay piece. And in terms of the under 1.5, I like it, but I don't love it, especially at the price. The under 1.5 rounds is currently sitting at minus 205. I could see it like barely just squeaking over, but I could also see it finishing under as well. But I like the under 2.5 as a solid parlay piece this week. From a DraftKings perspective, I think it's a very good fight to target. Edgar Charez, lots of finishing upside, and even Lucerda. Like Lucerda at 7,500, this is a guy that's kill or be killed. He's a guy that's going to be dangerous for a couple minutes. And if he is able to win this fight, it is going to be in the first round. So great fight to target on DraftKings, and another very violent fight on these prelims here. Lucerda is so sloppy. Like, what are we still doing here? Yeah, he's 0-4 in the UFC, probably becomes 0-5, and I hope they give him another fight. He can be like the flyweight Sam Alvey out here. Daniel Lucerda fights are great to bet on. No endurance or heart. He lacks endurance and heart. Lots of quitting, lots of looking for the door, and that's where we like to bet violence there. We got Troy saying lots of unders on this card, a lot to chalk. Only dogs I see is Jazz the Vicious, Holland, Grasso. We on the same page. I like one of those dogs, but like ever so slightly, and that would be like Kevin Holland, but I don't have any confidence in Kevin Holland because you can't. And I swore off betting Kevin Holland fights a long time ago. In terms of Jazz the Vicious, it's going to be super close. And then Grasso, I don't really like, but we'll talk about that fight. Favorite 2-3 props, we'll talk about a couple that I do like on the main card. I feel like Lucerda can pull off the upset here. He's going to have an opportunity, but the problem is he's going to have about 3 minutes of opportunity, which maybe that's all he needs. But yeah, if I was betting Lucerda, I'd probably just take the first round prop. Charez second round submission is my pick. Brady seeing code through the MMA Matrix. I think I'm picking a second round submission as well. Maybe I said second round knockout, but I think it's second round also. That's what I was saying. I told Uncle Weezy on Stat Tickers, I think he might have changed his name to Daniel Lucerda to get another, 3-4 fight contract. He fought 4 times as Da Silva, and maybe they signed him another 4 contract as Lucerda. This guy could go 0-8, believe it or not. We'll see. But very, very fun fighter to watch, nonetheless, no matter how many times he has lost. All right, we'll move on to the next fight. We got Roman Kopylov going against Josh Fremd. And we have a massive favorite here in Roman Kopylov, although money has actually came in on Josh Fremd as of late. So Roman Kopylov got all the way down to minus 410. He's back to minus 310. And Joshua Fremd opened up plus 120. He went all the way to plus 315. And he's back down to plus 260. So it looks like Fremd money has been coming in as of late. And this is how I'm playing this fight, which I think this is the first time I've ever bet on these props, so I was looking at, Kopylov round 2 and Kopylov round 3. I was able to cash his round 2 and round 3 prop, or I bet his round 2 and round 3 props last time against Claudio Ribeiro. And I forget what the number was, maybe like plus 650, something like that. Anyway, so I cashed that last time. With Roman Kopylov, this is a guy that has 10 knockouts. And listen to this. Round 3 knockout, round 2 knockout, round 3 knockout, round 2 knockout, round 1 knockout, round 4 knockout, round 4 knockout, round 3 knockout, round 2 knockout, round 2 knockout. Out of his 10 knockouts, only 1 has came in the first round, which is wild. And when Roman Kopylov fights are finishing, they typically finish in the later rounds. Like even the Carl Roberson fight that ended in the 3rd round. The Albert Duraev fight, it went the distance, but the ref could have stopped the fight in the 2nd round when Duraev was beating the crap out of him. So yeah, his fights typically finish in that 2nd or 3rd round. So instead of betting Kopylov round 2 or round 3, which I was going to do, what I did was I bet the fight to end in round 2 and then the fight to end in round 3 because the prices weren't much different. So I have a half unit shot on the fight to end in round 2 at plus 350, and then the fight to end in round 3 plus 700, hoping for this fight to end in the 2nd or 3rd round. And if it does, it should be a pretty decent payout there. I lean towards Kopylov being the one to get that knockout. But, if Josh Fremd is able to get the wrestling going early, if he is able to make Kopylov work, we have seen Kopylov completely gas out in more than one fight. We've seen Kopylov put in some very bad spots on the mat against Albert Duraev. Even Carl Roberson submitted him. So, yeah, I think there's multiple ways for this fight to finish in those later rounds there. I'm hoping the first round's kind of like a feel-out process, kind of a slow-paced first round, maybe some takedown attempts from Josh Fremd. But I think once the 2nd round hits, they're going to really start going. So I like the fight to end inside the distance, but more specifically in that 2nd or 3rd round. Also didn't mind like the under 2.5, but I think it's like minus 150, minus 160 now. But yeah, give me Kopylov to win the fight. But that's kind of how I'm playing it. Instead of taking the Kopylov 2-3, I'm taking the fight ends in 2-3 because it's pretty much the same price. A little bit worse, but pretty much the same. From a DraftKings perspective, I can't get to Kopylov here. 9,100 for a guy that's not going to wrestle, for a guy that, like I said, is probably not going to get a first-round knockout. So if he does get a knockout, it's probably round 2, round 3. And we have Raul Rosas, who's probably going to finish in round 1. We have Charlie Campbell, who's probably going to finish in round 1. We have another fighter that I like that we'll talk about as well. So, yeah, I don't know if I love Kopylov from a DraftKings perspective. Fremd at 7,100, I don't think is like the worst dart throw in the world this week because he has wrestling upside, because Kopylov has struggled with that in the past. And people are really low on Fremd this week, it seems like. And rightfully so. He did look like crap in the Pickett fight, but we'll see if he shows up and looks any better this time around. We got Moss in the chat. What is up? Big salute. What is up? How you doing? Kopylov KO. Fremd looked good on the scale. I would caution anybody playing Kopylov by KO because it's minus 165. I mean, I made the mistake last week of laying chalk on a knockout prop, and it ended very, very poorly. I had Carlos Olberg by knockout. Yikes. Minus 165 is a lot to lay on a knockout prop there. I think that's the most likely scenario, but minus 165, I'm not sure. What game plan do you think Valentina coming in with? I mean, the obvious game plan should be to wrestle there. I like to start round 2. Yeah, I think so. I think it does. Fight starts round 2 is minus 250. Could be a decent parlay piece. Jack was knocked out in his first fight and choked down in his second fight. Two things that are very capable of happening tomorrow night. He has not faced anyone as dangerous as Kevin. That is true, but the only problem is those fights happened like 8-9 years ago, like a long time ago. But I mean, it's true. Fremd by sub plus 1,000. EFS the most underrated in the game. Appreciate you, Segador. I was just saying, I also looked at the 2 and 3 KO last time, and it was like 600, 900. This time, the book's already over it. Yeah, these are like terrible numbers on these 2-3 props. They are most definitely all over it. So Kopylov round 2 looks like on Bet Online plus 275. Kopylov round 3 plus 400. What is this? My bookie. On Bet Rivers, they have Kopylov round 3 plus 650, Kopylov round 2 plus 425. So they are all over these Kopylov 2-3 numbers. And yes, he does. Yes, he does. He definitely does pick his shots. Holland by sub plus 600. Don't hate it. Don't hate a 600. Fremd is tough too. Yeah, Fremd is pretty tough. They're both pretty tough. I missed the DFS BTN guy who made me to win plus 800. Aspinall versus Tybura. What happened in the Aspinall Tybura fight? David in the chat, what is up? David, good to see you as well. Fremd did look like trash last time out, but he did miss weight for that fight. Yes, he did. So that's what I was thinking as well. Maybe Fremd came in there hurt or something was up, but he did miss weight, and he did look like complete garbage against Jamie Pickett. Luckily, he was fighting Jamie Pickett, though. Rank and order according to the confidence level. Knutson, Campbell, Kopylov, Godinez. Number 1, Knutson. Number 2, Campbell. Number 3, Godinez. Number 4, Kopylov. All right. We'll move on to the featured prelim here. We got Lupita Godinez going against Elise Reed. And we have Lupi as a pretty big favorite here. Lupi Godinez is currently sitting as a minus 400 favorite. Elise Reed plus 300. So, unfortunately, I do have 2 bets on this fight, unfortunately. And this is what I like to call the hole in your wall play of the week, or maybe the busted TV play of the week, or even the TV in the river, play of the week. Because if this play does not hit, there will probably be a hole in my wall, or my TV will probably go into the Ohio River. And the plays I do have is a half unit shot on Lupi inside the distance plus 150, and then Lupi by submission half a unit plus 340. So 1 unit total on Lupi Godinez. It's terrifying, but if she has an IQ above 50, I mean, she should take Elise Reed down and finish her pretty easy. We've seen Elise Reed taken down by Loma Luke Budmi and get submitted. Let me repeat that. Elise Reed got taken down by Loma Luke Budmi and got submitted. And I had a bet on Loma Luke Budmi at minus 250. And I was not expecting Loma Luke Budmi to submit Elise Reed. Like, that is ridiculous. Like, that was Loma's first submission ever. And then on top of that, she got, dominated by Sam Hughes and finished on the mat by Sam Hughes. So, Elise Reed, she's 7-3. Her 3 losses come inside the distance. You got to think that, Lupita Godinez, her coaches are telling her, like, listen, Lupi, for the love of God, why not take Elise Reed down to the mat? If she takes Elise Reed down to the mat, she makes this look easy. If she doesn't, I still think she wins, but she's not going to look minus 500. So, Lupi Godinez is someone that, she's forgot how to wrestle or something. I'm not sure if Lupi's either hurt or if she's just an idiot. I think it's one of the two, but this is going to be a very big IQ test. If you're not taking down Elise Reed, something's wrong physically or mentally with you. So we're going to see, but I did take the shots because if Loopy does wrestle, I do think she makes this look so freaking easy. So we'll see. I mean, I'm prepared mentally to be burned, so it's not going to hurt as bad, but I would like to see Loopy go out there with a good game plan. From a DraftKings perspective, I think Loopy's going to be one of the lower owned fighters up in this 9.0 range and up. And if she does wrestle, I mean, she's going to probably be one of the highest scorers of the entire slate. So I like Loopy as a low owned play up top. She has a ton of upside. It all comes down to the game plan there. Terrifying, but I had to do it just because she's going to have a significant advantage if she fights smart. I think Loopy has forgotten that wrestling's allowed in MMA. I think she's forgotten too. Really think she's forgotten too. Brady, I thought you swore off betting Loopy. Your home will be destroyed by the time she retires. Yeah, I stopped betting her after the Angela Hill fight. But apparently, somebody hit me up and said that she was dealing with something that fight week. So kind of let it slide, but still, come on. Loopy plus Holland combined fight IQ of about 10. Yeah, there's some bad fight IQs on this card, and Loopy and Kevin Holland is one of them. If Loopy does not wrestle, she'll officially, pound for pound, have the worst fight IQ out there. Wouldn't be surprised if Loopy somehow makes this a close fight. It all comes down to the game plan. We got Russell made the lash in. There you go. What is up, Russell? Hit the like button. I agree. Let's get those likes up. While you are repeating how Reed was taken down by Loma, I can't stop to think about how bad that loss to Reed looks for Jazz as she fights Tracy, who gave Blanchfield her one and only loss via split. Yeah, that was a very bad loss. And in that fight, Melissa Reed was reversing Jasmine Jazz the Vicious, but I think Jasmine Jazz the Vicious has improved leaps and bounds since that Reed fight. The first fight I watched of Loopy was the Carnelosi fight, and I was convinced she was going to be a future champ. Then she decided to become a striker, and in my opinion, changed. Yeah, she's a really good wrestler, really good grappler. We'll see if she can put it to the test there. Kopylov money line, Rosas Jr. under 1.5. Valentina decision is plus 325. You mean Valentina decision, wins by decision, or the Valentina fight goes the distance? If it goes the distance, I don't hate that. Appreciate you, Russell. Tracy won the first 2 rounds against Blanchfield, but when Blanchfield got on top of her in the third, she just couldn't get her off. Blanchfield is very heavy on top. Yeah, that was a close fight. And Blanchfield was very young as well. That is true. And I agree with Sean as well. Jasmine has improved just a ton there. All right. Let's keep moving on. We have the main card opener, which is going to be an absolute banger, I hope, with Fernanda Padilla going against Kyle Nelson. We got Padilla is currently minus 240, Kyle Nelson plus 205. So another spot that's kind of burned me in the past as well, and that's just betting violence in Kyle Nelson fights. Kyle Nelson's a guy that just completely changed up his style the last couple fights. This is a guy in Kyle Nelson who used to be kill or be killed. His first fights in the UFC, he came in there against Diego Ferreira. He hurt Diego Ferreira in the first round, and he gassed out and got finished in the second. Then he goes out there against Matt Sales. He gasses out and gets submitted in the third round by Matt Sales. And then he knocks out Marco Polo Reyes in the first round. And then he goes out there, gasses out, gets broken, and gets finished by Billy Quarantillo. Then he takes 2 years off. He comes back and fights Jai Herbert and has the most boring fight I've ever seen in my life. Nothing happened. No guy wanted to be there. No guy wanted to fight. And, Kyle Nelson lost that fight. And then in the Duho Choi fight, it was one of the worst fights I've ever seen. Neither guy wanted to be there. Neither guy wanted to fight. Kyle Nelson only landed 20 strikes in 15 minutes. It was horrible to watch. And then against Blake Builder, it was a horrible fight. Nobody did anything. Neither guy wanted to be there. It was terrible to watch. Kyle Nelson landed 60 strikes in 15 minutes. So these Kyle Nelson fights as of late have been brutal. I mean, horrible. I mean, boring, terrible fights where neither guy wants to fight. This fight, though, which, the UFC has some balls putting it as the main card opener because these Kyle Nelson fights have sucked. But I think what they're thinking is, Fernando Padilla is not going to go out there and not fight. I think he's going to bring the fight to Kyle Nelson, kind of like Billy Quarantillo did, kind of how Matt Sales did, Diego Ferreira did. So I think he's going to go out there, bring the fight to Kyle Nelson, and make Kyle Nelson do something he doesn't want to do, which is fight. I think he's going to go out there and really put the pace on. I think it's going to be a high paced fight. Fernando Padilla is a guy that's a high paced guy. I think there's going to be a lot of wrestling on the Kyle Nelson side. I think it's going to wear him out. And I think we're going to see Kyle Nelson go back to his old ways, gas out, and get finished in this one. So I like Padilla here to get the finish. And I do have multiple bets here. So the first bet I have is Padilla to win inside the distance, 1 unit plus 100. I have Padilla round 2, round 3, quarter unit on each, 500 and 1,000. And then Padilla round 2 sub and round 3 sub, 0.15 units on round 2 plus 1,700. And then Padilla round 3 sub, 0.10 units, round 3 plus 3,100. So 1.75 units in total. Hoping Padilla not only gets to finish, but gets to finish down the stretch when Kyle Nelson hopefully gasses out when he's forced to actually fight for the first time in years. If Matt Sales can submit you in the third round, I think Padilla can. Like, Padilla's grappling is very, very good. I think a Padilla sub's super live here, actually. So give me Padilla to finish this fight. From a DraftKings perspective, I like Padilla as well, 8,900. And as far as Kyle Nelson, I don't think he's like the worst dog in the world, because I think he probably will wrestle and may have success, but he just hasn't been scoring anything lately. So I like Padilla on DraftKings here. And then I also like Padilla in his finish props as well. We got the High Owl. What is up, the High Owl? What's up, Brady? Love your content. Appreciate you. I feel like Jasmine's going to seem much bigger as she will. Yeah, she's huge for the division. Probably just take the fight goes the distance, Michael. In my opinion, I mean, I do lean towards Valentina winning decision, but with the judges, there could be a bunch of shenanigans going on. Tracy has not gotten worse. That is true. She's only improved as well. Just has not been as active. Both ladies have made massive improvements. That is true. I just really think that is a good price tag for Tracy, and it could look like a good price tag. Let's not get it wrong. The Choi fight was not a draw. That is true, LJ. That was a BS headbutt point deduction. Yeah, I think it was Tyone in there. Kyle lost that fight, evidently. Padilla all day. Yeah, I agree. That was a weird point deduction. Even though Doo Ho Choi did not show up, I still thought he won the fight. I picked Nelson over Builder. Not sure about this one. Yeah, I picked Builder. I don't think Builder's like the best fighter in the world, but with Blake Builder, he typically brings the fight, but Blake Builder didn't show up last time. I don't know. Padilla's gonna rock Nelson's world. I hope so. Padilla's regional tape is not impressive. Rosa has no chin. I'm kind of impressed with Padilla. The only thing I was not impressed with was his takedown defense. He has some of the worst takedown defense you'll ever see. Guys can take him down easy. That's why I think Kyle Nelson can and will get takedowns here. But Padilla is a very good grappler and very, very dangerous. We got Black in here saying, "Hey Brady, I'm confused. Is the event in Mexico or Vegas? I keep getting different information. It's 110% in Las Vegas." Cortez is depressed because Ortega left her pulled out for it once already. I don't think that's the case, but I don't know. I don't talk to Tracy, so we'll see. Cortez decision. Knutson, Lucerda fight doesn't go. Campbell fight doesn't go. Rosas fight doesn't go. Parlay 856 with the boost, and I would agree with that. The Cortez decision would be my only worry there, but that's probably what's making it kind of juicy there, just because I think the Cortez fight could be very, very close. Kyle Nelson will be winned. Be careful. I mean, hey, I've lost money on Kyle Nelson's last 3 fights. Maybe it happens again, but yeah, pretty heavily invested in Padilla here. All right, moving on, we got Daniel Zellhuber going against Christos Giagos, and we have Zellhuber is currently minus 275. Christos Giagos is plus 235. And I do like Zellhuber here. I think it's a good matchup for him. I actually think that, from a live betting standpoint, might be better than this minus 275 because Giagos is a very good fighter. He has some pop in his hands. He's a very good wrestler, very good grappler. He can go for takedowns. The problem with Giagos has always been the cardio is atrocious. Like, this guy slows down fight after fight, especially when it's a high-paced wrestling fight. So yeah, I think Giagos is going to come out hot as early, and if he's not able to finish Zellhuber, I think he's going to slowly break down, slowly start to tire out, and I think Zellhuber is going to put it on him and get him out of there. So just like last fight, I'm doing the same exact thing. I have 1 unit on Daniel Zellhuber to win inside the distance. plus 140. Zellhuber round 2 and round 3, quarter unit on each. 600 round 2, 1,000 round 3. And then Zellhuber round 2 sub and round 3 sub, 0.15 units plus 1,800 round 2. 0.1 units plus 2,900 Zellhuber sub round 3 for 1.75 units in total there. The reason being is Giagos gets subbed like it's his job. I mean, Giagos has been subbed so many times. 5 submission losses for Christos Giagos, and a lot of those have to do with him getting tired, him gassing out. Zellhuber does have a submission or 2 on his record. I could see, Giagos, shooting in on a sloppy takedown and getting his neck snatched up, something like that. But yeah, I think the Zellhuber late props are very live here. I don't think Zellhuber finishes Giagos early, just because Giagos, like I said, I think Giagos can actually maybe even win the first round. It's just as the fight goes on, Giagos' gas tank really, really starts to slow down and gasses out. And that's when I think Zellhuber can get the finish there. So I like Zellhuber here. From a DraftKings perspective, I don't know if I love him at 8.8K. I don't see him finishing Giagos early, like I said. And like I said, I feel like he could be taken down in the first round a little bit. Giagos 7,400. This is a guy that if Giagos wins, I could see it like honestly being like a first round finish or, a matchup where he's able to have success with the wrestling. So I think from a DraftKings perspective, I'd actually lean towards the dog here, but I think Zellhuber eventually gets it done in round 2 or round 3. Should be another very fun fight there. Padilla in round 2 to start, plus 115. That's not bad at all. That's not bad at all. I kind of like the name Zellhuber. I don't mind it. Giagos has fought a murderer's row. For the most part, yeah, he has. Not in his last fight, but yeah, for the most part, I agree. Because I think he fought Ricky Glenn in his last fight. Plus 1,800 for round 1 and 2 sub. I should get on that. And that's probably on FanDuel, right? They have the round 1, round 2 sub combos. Yeah, I don't mind it. I think the sub's live here. Christos is a more aggressive version of Trey Ogden. Yeah, 110% more aggressive. With the same kind of frame, minus half an inch of height. Another fight, not to parlay scary. Yeah, I feel like the Ogden fight was a complete fluke. Like I feel if they ran it back, Zellhuber would win that fight 9 times out of 10. It's a result that still to this day has me quite puzzled that Zellhuber was not able to beat Trey Ogden, who is a grappler that throws nothing on the field. I mean, it was just a weird outcome there. But I feel if they run it back, Zellhuber destroys Ogden there. But they're never going to run it back. And yes, he did. That was actually Giagos' first UFC knockout ever against Ricky Glenn there. But we'll move on to the next fight. This is my main event, and it's terrifying to say this. My night from a betting perspective comes down to the youngest fighter in the UFC. I mean, it's scary, but this is what I have. So I have those violence parlays. These are the parlays. I have 1.5 units on each. The first one is Charez, Lucerda under 2.5, parlayed with Rosas Jr, Terrence Mitchell under 1.5. Came out to minus 150, 1.5 units. The second one, Rosas Jr, Terrence Mitchell under 1.5, parlayed with Alex Reyes, Charlie Campbell under 2.5. 1.5 units on that as well. And then I have 1 unit on Rosas Jr to win by first round submission at plus 120. So 4 units total riding on Rosas Jr to finish Terrence Mitchell in the first 7.5 minutes. And I think he should. I mean, Terrence Mitchell, this guy's a killer be killed fighter. 17 fights for Terrence Mitchell. Only one of them's been over 1.5 rounds. So I really like that over or the under 1.5 here. How I see it playing out is Rosas Jr getting a takedown within the first 30 seconds. I actually have a feeling that Mitchell might even initiate the wrestling because that's what he does. But either way, I see Rosas Jr getting this fight down to the mat within the first 30 seconds to a minute. Working his way to the back, and then it's probably over shortly after. Terrence Mitchell, nice guy. I listened to his interview. This guy, Terrence Mitchell, is a very nice guy, very cool guy. It's just, I'm not sure if he's quite UFC caliber. This is a guy that, 17 fights, the majority of them in the Alaska fight scene. Anytime he's fought somebody somewhat decent, I mean, he's not only losing, but he's getting finished, and he's getting finished in the very first round. Like I said earlier in the show, like Rosas Jr., I'm sure a lot of people are low on him, as in terms of a ceiling. But I mean, he's only 18 years old. He's only going to get better. This guy has a insane skill set with the wrestling, with the grappling. And I think he goes out there and finishes Mitchell first round submission, but that's not a hot take. This guy's minus 900. But my night does come down to him finishing this fight under 1.5 rounds. If this fight goes over 1.5, it's not going to be good. So yeah, we'll see. But give me Rosas sub 1, Rosas on DraftKings as well. 9,600 is expensive, but I think he'll pay off that price tag and a little bit more as well with that first round sub there. Terrence was trying some bodybuilding flexes on the scale. Old boy looked wild. Yeah, he looked in incredible shape, but sometimes incredible shape is not enough. Rob Rosas does have a chin on him. He does. He has a very, very, very big chin on him, and nobody's knocking that guy out anytime soon. That's for sure. Mitchell by KO is interesting. If he wins, that's how it is most likely. I don't know even what a Mitchell win looks like, to be honest. I guess you're right. It would have to be knockout, but like we just talked about, I don't know if anybody's knocking out Rob Rosas Jr. anytime soon with a chin like that. I don't think he submits him. Terrence Mitchell doesn't win decisions. I guess it would have to be TKO or something. I don't know, but I don't like Mitchell's chances in this one. I mean, Rob Rosas Jr. would really have to drop the ball or something for Mitchell to win this fight, in my opinion. All right. So yeah, we'll keep moving on. We're doing pretty good on time. Going to try to cut it at an hour here. We have Della Maddalena going against Kevin Holland. Yeah. So the thing, if you guys have been watching my channel for the last couple of years, I did swear off betting Kevin Holland a long time ago. I retired. I threw in the towel in terms of laying money on Kevin Holland. The reason you ask, why would you do that? Well, I think it's pretty obvious, but the reason I did stop betting on Kevin Holland is because this guy, Kevin Holland, pound for pound, has the worst fight IQ in the UFC. I can think of 3 fighters with horrible fight IQ right off the top of my head. Trevin Giles, horrible, terrible fight IQ. Kevin Holland, horrible, terrible fight IQ. And then somebody else on this card, Loopy, who I'm giving her one last chance, Loopy Godinez. Just awful, atrocious cardio, or fight IQ. Kevin Holland makes the dumbest decisions in there. Like, he's a great fighter, don't get me wrong, but he just makes some dumb decisions. I remember in that Stephen Thompson fight where he was getting like pieced up on the feet in the second, third, fourth, all that. There was points where he ended up on top of Stephen Thompson, where he had a massive grappling advantage. And he just let him up. Like, Kevin Holland just makes mistakes in there. He messes around in there. He talks to his opponents. He talks to this corner. I mean, it's hard to bet on this guy a lot of times. With that said, if I would bet on this fight, I think it would be a dog or pass scenario. I think Kevin Holland does have a lot of advantages here. Kevin Holland's going to be much bigger, height, reach advantage. Kevin Holland's going to have just the biggest grappling advantage ever in this matchup. Kevin Holland's such a good grappler. It's just he doesn't wrestle. He doesn't try to get the fight down to the mat. So why should we expect him to here? And on the feet, Della Maddalena's hands are very, very fast, has a ton of power in his hands, really good boxer. But Kevin Holland is going to have that 8-inch reach advantage here. So yeah, I think this is going to actually play out pretty close. I think this fight actually goes to decision as well. And the overs have actually got hit quite a bit as of late. And the fight doesn't go to decision, is only like minus 180. Yeah, I think this fight actually goes the distance. But I think if you bet the over or the fight, I think it is going to be very sweaty. I think there's going to be some moments where either guy gets hurt. So yeah, I think it's going to be a close fight. I would lean with Kevin Holland, and if I was forced to bet it, it would be Kevin Holland. But like I said, I retired from betting Kevin Holland, and coming out of retirement to bet on Kevin Holland against somebody I'm super high on Della Maddalena, one of my favorite prospects at the time. Should I come out of retirement to lay money on Kevin Holland? I don't think so. And if I was to bet on Kevin Holland and he did go out there and pull something stupid, which there's a good chance of that happening, I don't know if I'd be able to live with myself. So I think I'm just going to pass, sit back and watch this one. My favorite fight in the card. It's going to be a very popular fight to bet. That's for sure. A lot of people very confident on the Jack side. A lot of people very confident in the Kevin Holland side. I think it's dog or pass, but I think I'm going to sit back and watch this one. God help us all if Loopy lets Brady down. Yeah, I mean, if Loopy does not wrestle, there's a good chance I won't be showing up to the Sunday Stat Digger show. That's for sure. I think my laptop will be in the Ohio River if Loopy forgets to wrestle this time around. Knutson is plus 100 to win by decision, yet she only has one finish in 6 fights. Not sure I understand the price. Me either. I would lean decision as well, but money's coming in on the under in the fight doesn't go. But yeah, I even saw the decision at plus 125 as well. He said he wouldn't grapple beforehand. That's why. I mean, that's stupid. I mean, why would he not grapple Wonder Boy? Evan in round 2, fight starts round 3. No, I kind of disagree, but don't have a strong take on it. I love double chance bets for bouts like this, KO or decision for who? Because I think if Holland wins, it would be KO or sub. I mean, sub or decision. I got Holland, even though JDM hasn't let me down yet. JDM has fought no one high level. I mean, JDM's wins are atrocious, and like I said, I'm a big JDM guy, but I mean, he's beating Pete Rodriguez. He's beating Ramazan Ameev, who I'm not sure if Ameev got cut or not. Danny Roberts, Randy Brown, which that is probably his best win, and then Basil Hafez. So yeah, no good win. This will be Jack's best win by a mile. If Jack is winning, then he is closing the distance, hitting the body, and following up top. It won't last 3 rounds. If Kevin is doing his thing and crack Jack a few times, it won't go all 3 club and sub. Well, best of luck. I will not have a bet on this fight, but if I was to bet it would be Kevin Holland. All right, guys, time for the main event. We got Valentina Shevchenko going against Alexa Grasso. Very, very intriguing matchup and very intriguing line as well. So we currently have Valentina Shevchenko minus 161, and we have Alexa Grasso plus 141. Kind of disappointed. I thought throughout the week some money would come in on Alexa Grasso. I thought that Valentina might get, minus 150 or better. That doesn't seem like it's going to be the case. We still have we have another day or so, but doesn't look like, money's going to come in on Grasso at this point, which kind of sucks. I was hoping to get Valentina at, minus 150 or better. One thing I will say was, I saw this video today, and shout out to Maddie Betts on Twitter. Cool guy. This is a guy that does a lot of like wild prop shots on Twitter, and he posted a video with just a wild stat. The stat was, and this is, I think, for welterweights or smaller champions who or in title fights, fighters who are 35 years or older are like 2-29 in title fights, welterweights or smaller. That's that's kind of a big red flag for me there. With that said, though, Shevchenko, yes, she is 35 years old, but their last fight was only like 6 months ago. So I'm not sure, how much or what has really changed since then. I'm not sure Alexa Grasso's really improved her crap takedown defense in 6 months. Maybe she has, but in the first fight, Valentina was pretty easily able to take down Alexa Grasso in the second or third round. And I think that's going to be the game plan here in this one. But this one kind of worries me a little bit. Alexa Grasso, she is 30 years old. She is in her prime, whereas Valentina, it does look like she's losing a step. So we'll see if Valentina is really losing a step or not, because this is a fight that Valentina should win, but she has a couple things going against her. The age, and yeah, like I said, that stat just kind of threw me off. 2-29. These 35 or up fighters fighting in title fights, but I got to go Valentina. But like I said, I'm kind of disappointed. No money's coming in on Grasso. I really thought it would, but doesn't look like it is. And this is one of those bets where I think if you bet either side, you're either going to look like a genius or you're going to look like a complete idiot. And, if you're betting Grasso and you lose and you look like a complete idiot, at least you're laying, plus money. Whereas if you bet Valentina and she loses and you look like a complete idiot, and you are laying juice there. So I don't have a bet on this fight yet. I'm going to monitor the line. If I can get Shevchenko minus 150 or better, I'll be forced to bet it. But as of now, I don't have anything on this fight here. So it's a weird fight to me. Just a really weird fight to me. Shevchenko was winning that fight minus the first round. Yeah, she wasn't. She was. So Shevchenko lost the first round, but I went back and watched that fight, and Grasso was hitting like a ton of air in the first round. Like she missed a lot. Her accuracy in that fight was horrible, like 30-something percent. But yeah, Grasso did land the biggest shot in that first round, which I think swung it there. I love this fight. Bet or no bet. This is a great fight to end tomorrow night. I agree. It's a great fight. It's an intriguing fight. It's a weird fight from a betting perspective, but I like it. I like the fight. Valentina seems motivated more than ever. You can say the same thing about Grasso, though, is the thing. They're both very motivated. DraftKings is kind of weird this week. Nobody under Lucerda makes sense. Yeah, DraftKings is very weird. Not a ton of dogs. That's why I'm going pretty light on DraftKings this week. I like Valentina to grind out the wind and possibly retire. I don't think she's even close to retiring, but maybe I'm wrong. She does not want to win, or she does not want to fight Blanchfield, and the rest are coming. Won't give Grasso a rubber match either. I'd be kind of shocked if Valentina retired. I mean, she doesn't look washed to me, but I've heard a couple of people say that, so we'll see. She will do what Amanda did right around that age, get her belt back, and maybe fight one more time and then retire. Did Valentina change camps for this fight? I don't think so, but I don't know. Val will probably come out looking kind of to make him a statement. Yeah, she was talking about coming in, looking to make a statement, going after it early. I think she is a heel at heart, may look dominant. Is there a chance this fight ends early? I doubt it. I don't really see either fighter finishing here. We got Troy saying, thanks for the info as always. Let's keep winning. Good luck this week and good luck to you as well, Troy. Valentina said the other day she's going to fight till she can't anymore. Yeah, I don't see Valentina retiring anytime soon. I could see her fighting up till like 38, 39 personally, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe she hangs it up after this fight. I mean, if she loses the Grasso, she probably should hang it up, but we'll see. She's in the Tom Brady one. Oh, maybe she goes to 45 then. We'll see. My goodness. All right, so yeah, nothing on the main event. But if money comes in on Grasso, then I'll have to pull the trigger, but that doesn't look like it's going to be happening, which is fine. I'm fine with the kind of staying away. This fight kind of freaks me out a little bit. Like I said, betting either side, you're either going to look like an absolute genius or it's going to look like the dumbest bet ever. So we'll see. So yeah, I'm going to be posting my betting breakdown video sometime tonight or tomorrow. So that'll be out. And then tomorrow I'll be going live around 1 o'clock. And we got Narco, we got Johnny, and we have Patrick Addicted Comments. A very good show tomorrow. Best of luck, everybody, for Noche UFC. It's greasy. It's chalky. Be careful on the parlays, but it should be a fun card. Enjoy it. Best of luck, guys. We'll talk to you soon. See you later.